We'll be starting soon. I see people are joining. I think everybody might be muted by default, so if you want, you can go ahead and unmute. Oh, hang on, Mandy, you're muted. Let me unmute you. Oh.
Change my name. Change my name. No. Change my name.
We should be starting soon. Okay, we should be starting soon, guys.
Akiva, you look great. Nice tan.
Hi, everyone.
Akiva l'chaim.
Yankee, finger the vodka, no? Was ist das? Yankee, you're on mute, Yankee. You're on mute.
I have it set when you first come in that everyone gets muted, so just try and keep your mutes in and out so we don't overwrite.
My name is Alman. My name is Alman Yakabari. Chaim, L'chaim, L'chaim, Heilige Yidden, L'chaim. L'chaim, Mendel, L'chaim, Mendel. Mandy, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I unmute.
L'chaim.
Whatever, if you have background noise, try and keep your things muted if you can.
Yeah. How's the mitzvah bacher over there? How's the mitzvah?
We're here.
I can't wait.
Your wife the frosted some chicken soup for you.
Yeah.
Look good.
I actually did it myself.
Hello, we have to all send left. Hello, send left.
Oh, it's on the table already. Look.
We did already. We did already. Nice, nice. Just as an update, everybody gets muted when they come in, so just try and mute and unmute if you want to talk, but just so we background noise down.
Look at that table.
Come on.
Tala.
Chaim. Thanks.
Mandel.
Oh,
Yanko.
Bianco.
Jij bent met Chaim?
Warte.
Chaim.
Chaim levracha.
Chaim, de mooiste.
See, right here.
Oh, look, Chaim Berlin, look, it's on the air.
Chaim Berlin, nice to see you.
Chaim.
You're muted, Chaim. I have everybody muted when they first come in, so just unmute.
I just have the fire.
Shulen.
Yeah, I got it right
Hello, Amanda, I'm trying to get up a Jungreis on to say a couple of words.
Sure. Lili Nishmas, Reb Shaya ben Moshe.
Right.
Reb Shaya ben Moshe. Zechisa Yogan Aleini V'Kol Yisrael.
Amen.
Moshe, Chaim. Get the food.
Wow, Rabbi Winkler, big shout out. I've been to see a group.
Shulim, show us a little of Shaila, Shul. Let's see the
What a
Shaila.
guess.
No, where's the Shaila? The Shaila.
Yidden, I have a friend. I'm going to send over his number. He's tonight in Kerestia as we speak. He got a work permit. I know you think it's a falsche Zach. His name is Ari Stadamaya. He's from Montreal. Very rarely do you meet a young man of this stature.
How come I didn't think about that?
He got Friedlander to get him a work permit from the government of Budapest in Hungary. And I texted him today, and he's going to be masked against Klal Yisrael and names. I hope still to get video tonight of him in Kerestia. Besides that, Rabbi Rubin, the Anikel from Reb Shaila, he told me that he himself has somebody who works for him in Kerestia year-round, who will be masking names of Yidden in Kerestia tomorrow by the sea.
Zechisa Yogan Aleini.
I sent my names into him already.
I sent it. I forwarded all the names. There are hundreds of names.
I'm on the Nasiya chat. I wrote the first one today.
My friend, there's no reason not to be. We only do good things.
I love it.
No charge. Where do you get such a service? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
No money.
I'm the biggest fan.
If anybody knows people who need money, they should forward me their names.
Andy watches. Each one of them.
Try and keep on mute if you're not talking.
What is who sent?
Sing along.
Oy, 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 da, 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 da.
Zamen dem Shaya Bere Moshe. Dem Shaya
Shaya
Bere
Moshe.
Boy Baba Yisro. Bole Chayim Zayne. Shaya Bere Moshe. Shaya Bere Moshe. Boy Baba Yisro. Bole Chayim Zayne. Lo Zechisa, Yuga, and Eleni.
It didn't start.
See, what did it say? Who's there? Rosie. Was it Rosie or Esti Akiva?
It's all it's Rosie. She's making trouble.
Yeah, hello. A big
Just
shout
like
out to Akiva Salkowitz. You remember that 3 years ago? Akiva.
Guys, our boy say, Shulam, money is stay story, Shulam. Say story, Shulam.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. We have a special guest. Mandy, we have a big story. I think Shulam. Say a little story, Shulam. Say a story. We have a first-hand story right here coming up. Everybody.
First hand. Here's a Shaila.
Shulam, say a story, Shulam.
So let's hear a story.
Say
So
Shulam. Say a story.
we Baruch Hashem. No, it was almost 3 years ago, no? What was it?
I have to be quick.
What's like 3 years ago? What do you mean, last year, no?
No, it was last year. I went to go say thank
You're
you.
right. Okay, so 1.5 years. No.
Almost 3 years ago.
Say the story.
We tried a whole bunch of times with a certain type of treatments. We went many years. I had my daughter, and then we waited on like 4 years, and nothing was working. And I called Akiva up once. I was all depressed. I said, "Get me a new car. I need something to get my mind." Remember that? Remember that phone call?
It's the only phone. I remember that phone call.
So he tells me, he said the car's not. He said, "I'll get you a new car, but a car's not gonna get your mind off this." He's like, the Yahrtzeit's in a month and a half. Book tickets, come to Reb Shaila, and we're gonna make this happen. So I came. So I Kachavo, we booked tickets. We went down, and we went to the Tzion, and I felt as soon as I walked in, I mamish felt the Kedisha, the connection.
Oh.
And without even asking my wife, I felt very connected. Without even asking my wife, I promised that my next Zucher is going to be named after Reb Shaila. And 10.5 months later, I have my little Reb Shaila.
Wow.
He's here making l'chaim with us.
Hi,
What a story.
don't forget, he bring him to the Tzion. He promised, and he also bring him to the Tzion. He was by the Tzion.
And 3 months ago, I brought him to the Tzion.
Wow. Listen, in days like this, it's days like today, the world could not have been more ready for a Yahrtzeit like Reb Shaila Kiddustida. You know, you went past the Yom Tif, you went past Chalamoid, you went past the extended Chalamoid, we had a Shabbos. Now it's like, here we go. You have nothing but reality. Those were the times you ran to your Rebbe, you ran to the Shaila. He went there and he made you feel good. He gave you something to eat. He listened to you. He gave you some bruchas. More importantly, he gave you the strength for you to carry on your journey. That's what he did. Everybody left Karistir.
All of us. Is going to be next.
We should all see bruchas. Zechus Yogan Aleinu.
Great.
Let's do
Fine.
Yeah.
You want to make it?
I'm a little
Guys, look at this. A mysterious thing going on over there.
I want to share a thought. Schwartz, are you there?
Of course I'm here.
This is the first time in history that Kohanim and Am Yisrael are equal in the Yahrtzeit. We have the schus this year that we never had before. Kohanim weren't allowed to go to various, and now we are having Kohanim included in our group. That Klal Yisrael has to feel a special moment. It's a schus that a Kohen could partake in a Yahrtzeit of such a holy tzaddik. But I really want to
wait one second, guys. If you're not on mute, please mute. So this lady, whoever's one is going to talk, is going to be able to. Everybody's going to hear.
I want to read you a text that I got from a Yidid, Shlomi Brach. I don't know if you know Shlomi Brach. Is a Hasidic young man from Williamsburg. Hello, Shlomi Brach is a Hasidic young man from Williamsburg. He is a Baal Chesed beyond. He goes to hospitals to play for many, many unfortunate cases. He set up Zoom in hospitals so over Yontif families could watch their patients. They weren't allowed to visit them. They were allowed to watch their patients via show or via Zoom or via video hookup. He went physically into the hospitals to set them up. Each individual device had to be set with its own Wi-Fi code depending on the hospital. Wow. The man is unbelievable. And I'll tell you what he sent me today. I'm going to read to you 4 sentences. Oi Rebbe, wer noch wie die weiß, was wir jeden machen mit? Wie viel päcklich Zures legen jeden herup bei dir jeden Jahr? Leider, ein Jahr können wir es nicht heruplegen bei deinem Käfer. Aber ich bete dir, Rebbe, ich habe angegräht die Päckl Zures neben mein Haus. In der Reise, ich bete dir, nimm es weg schnell. Das große Jürgen Aleino.
Maybe some English for some of us.
We're going to sing another song, and then I'm going to tell you guys a couple of stories. Everybody's welcome to share.
Everybody please mute. Everybody please mute.
Muted it already.
How you doing?
Eloi kai, Adonai meleko, keiliatu, veyoideko, Eloi kai, Adonai meleko.
Oh, thank you.
Rabbi Warsh is on there. Rabbi Warsh, you got the tate.
Yeah.
A little history about the Reb Shaya. Of course, we all know already. Afile kiloni chachomim, kiloni nevoinim. It's still an Indian on the Yahrtzeit. It's an Indian to speak over the shvachim of a tzaddik, because the same things that gave him schusim during his life, by us remembering and following in that derech, once again we keep those schusim alive. Yosef b'misosim, even more so. It's a special Indian to say over and to hear over. So that's what tonight's about. Let's try to join together and try to chap the amkes and try to chap the Indian of Reb Shaya, what it was. You know, there's so many stories, moifsim, moifsim, moifsim. But I think the focus is not the moifsim. The focus should be the avoida of Reb Shaya that allowed him to have the koiches to perform moifsim. That's where we should focus. If we focus on the moifsim, we're focusing on the gravy. Let's focus on the chef. L'chaim, l'chaim. Some short history. Reb Shaya tonight is the 95th Yahrtzeit. I hope I'm not wrong. I think it's 95. Is it 95? 95. He was nifter in 1925. He was born in 1851. So the Shaya he lived for 74 years, a few months short of 75 years. And tonight's the 95th Yahrtzeit. Imagine how different the world looked 95 years ago. Gewalt, what the world has seen in 95 years. But here we are in uncertain times and uncharted territories. And I think I'm going to say over a few inyonim, a few stories of Reb Shaya, and everybody's welcome to share their stories. But I think the following will give us chizuk and help us keep the schus of Reb Shaya alive. You have to understand that Reb Shaya didn't come from a family of Rebbes. His father wasn't a Rebbe. His father was a Reb Moshe, was a simple Yid. His father was lifter when he was 44. So Reb Shaya was a young little boy, and his mother had 3 children. One is buried in Staten Island, as we all know, and his mother, Reb Shaya's mother, recognized at an early age that Reb Shaya was different. He was different. He needed a father figure. He needed more influence. So she went to the biggest tzaddik there was in that town. His name was Reb Hershel Liske, the Liske Ruv. His name was Reb Tzvi ben Absura. And he was a Talmud. Reb Hershel Liske was a Talmud of Reb Meir Primishlan. The Heilige Reb Meir Primishlan was Reb Hershel Liske's Rebbe. And if we know the famous stories of Reb Meir Primishlan, he didn't go to sleep any night if he had $1 left over. Any money that came his way, he would make sure before he went to sleep, he would make sure that he would disperse it to tzaddikim, to aniyim, and to tzedukos, to the needy. So we can see that Reb Shaya was a Talmud of the Liskerov, who was a Talmud of Reb Meir Primishlan, this note of chesed, this inyan of tzedukos, was already the 3rd generation with Reb Shaya. It said that when he was a young boy, his mother, Reb Shaya's mother, came to Liske, and she walked in, and it happened to be, I think it was Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar. It was Chodesh Iyar. Tishrei. It was the times of the Yom Neruim. And here is this Almana, Reb Shaya's mother, And she walks right into the courts of Liska, and she says, I want to see the Rebbe. And you can imagine the Gabba says, listen, lady, I'm sure you've come a long way, but right now, the Rebbe is tied up. He's with Hachunis. It's right before Yom Neruin. You can't see him now. And if Shaila's mother, nobody knew who she was. She said, I came a long way. Tell the Rebbe that I'm here. Tell the Rebbe. She wouldn't take no for an answer. They went in. When they told Reb Hershel Liske that there was a woman waiting for him, he said, oh, Reb Shaila's mother's here. Reb Shaila's mother. Nobody knew what he was talking about. Reb Shaila was a little boy. So, ooh, Shaila's mama is due, Shaila's mother. And of course he went and he immediately told her that he's going to raise Reb Shaila. And he took Reb Shaila into his own house like a son. Liska was very famous for aniyim, for open policy, but on a smaller scale. It says that all the people would come to Reb Hershel Liska, and Reb Hershel Liska was very poor. And one time a Yid came and brought a box of candles, and put it down on Reb Hershel Liska's table. And the Liska said, oh, Baruch Hashem, we have candles now for Shabbos Kodesh. And all over the table was mountains of money, piles of coins, money. And the Yid's looking at what do you mean, you have candles for Yom Tov? I mean, I'm just a passing merchant. It looks like you're doing okay. Reb Hershel told him, let me explain to you. This pile is for Pidyon Shviyim. This pile is for Chanusas Kala. This pile is for Kimcha de Pischa. He went through every tzedakah. He had a cheshbon for everything. He says, for me, he held up the box of candles. Baruch Hashem, I have candles. So you have to understand, like Reb Meir Pemeshlan and like the Liskeruv, not a penny was lasted night to night. Everything was dispersed. There were special accounts for tzedakahs, and the Rebbe was in charge of those accounts. And Shaila, being a young boy, quickly became very close to the Liskeruv, and the Liskeruv would trust Reb Shaila with disbursement of his tzedakahs. And it says many stories. There was once a lady, she came to the Liskeruv and she said, Rebbe, I'm making a chasana and I need 20,000 ruble, whatever it was, and I don't have it. It was an enormous number. And Hershel Liske took out a very nice amount, 5,000, whatever the number was, and he gave it to her, and he wished her well, and he gave her a bracha that the remainder that she needs should come to her very easily. She thanked the Rebbe and she left. As soon as she left, Reb Shaila ran out, and he started running after the wagon. The woman got on her wagon and headed out of Liska. Reb Shaila didn't have a wagon. He ran on foot. And the woman, she was making the turns, and she got to the crossroads. He caught up with her, and he had an envelope with the remainder of the money, and he threw it into her wagon, and he said, Reb Shaila said, I should give you the remainder. And he threw the envelope in. He said, this is the remainder. When he came back, the Liskeruv looked at it and says, Chaps mechos, you're taking away my business. There was once a chussid that asked the Liskeruv, says, I come to you, I tell you this one needs tzedakah, this one needs, you never give me money. Reb Shaila comes to you, he says, I need money for Chanusas Kala, you give him. He says, yeah, because if Shaila doesn't come to me till he's down to the lining of his pocket, when he gives away everything and he has nowhere else to go, that's when he takes from me. The Liskeruv once told a close friend of his, one of the Rebbes of the time that came to visit him, he told him, he says, you see, on Shabbos, to my guest, I have a big ceremony. I give out bilkelach. I give out chalas. And the Liskeruv hinted, he said, when somebody eats a challah by me, then I'm indebted to him. I'm in service to him for the rest of his life. In other words, if he's nehene from me, then I now am in a position to help him. He was hinting at the significance of giving out this chalas. A few short years after Reb Shaila's bar mitzvah, Reb Shaila took over the Bilkelach disbursement job in Liske. And the Liskeruv, he would stand and he would watch Reb Shaila give out the Bilkelach. It says one Shabbos after Missiv, the oilam, all the guests, they finish davening, they go and they sit around the table. There was no like dining room, shield, bedroom. It was all one. You came to Liske. At night you slept. In the morning they clean it up. You would daven. After davening you would eat. It was the hut, the house. And the Hasidim was setting up the table, and the Liskeruv was wearing his talis, and he was leaning on his stender, and he was watching as Reb Shaila was sitting everybody in their place, and he was giving out chalas. Somebody came and said, Rebbe, Liskeruv, why are you schlepping so much? Why are you standing on the bima? Come, make kiddush. He says, I'm watching, and Reb Shaila gives out the chalas. Look how he gives out the bilkelach. He said, I don't understand. He gives out bilkelach every single week. Wasepis, why are you watching him? Said the Liskeruv, yeah, but this week his bag is empty. And they watched Reb Shaila give bilkelach to everybody. And they went and they looked, Taka, and they saw it was empty. One of the wise guys went and pulled and looked. And as soon as they saw it's empty, Reb Shaila put down the bag and he stopped giving. But at a very young age, people were commenting, even when the Liskeruv was alive, they said, Reb Shaila is going to be a Rebbe one day. He's going to be a Rebbe one day. And so it was after the Liskeruv was nifter. It says that the Liskeruv, they asked him, Rebbe, who's going to give us bruchas yeshiyas? He was one of the biggest pal yeshiyas of the time. He says, give the kvitach to Shaya, give the kvitach to Shaya. As long as you have Shaya, you'll be helped. When Reb Shaila then went to all the Rebbes, it's a long story, we're not going to go into it, but eventually he settled in Kerestir on the advice of Reb Chaim Sanzer, the Sanzeruv, as long as they're Matchel and Advarna, and they told him, Geitze Kerestir. Kerestir didn't exist, it was just the border between the Badrag River and Mishkoltz and Tokai. It was a crossroads for merchants. And he went and he settled there, and he continued the ways of his Rebbe and the ways of Meir Pamishlana, and he would give food, warm food. Somebody came in with an immediate tzura and a bigger tzura. You know, the beauty of Shai used to say, the beauty of coming to Kerestir was as follows. You left your house thinking you're coming to Kerestir, chvais, for a health problem, a parnusa problem. Many problems, some of them unsolvable. By the time you got to Kerestir and you mitched with the train and you got off and you traveled, by the time you walked into Kerestir, you had a much bigger problem. You were starving. He says, you forgot already all your big problems. He says, he would come in, he would give you a warm soup, he would give you something to sleep on, a bed. He says, if he can solve your small problem, then right away, he has access to all the problems. He was able to venture and give brachas. He had you, like the Liskeruv said, he was in service to you. If in Shemayim they gave him the schis to ease some of your pain, he used the opportunity to ease all of your pain. There's a famous story. While Reb Shaila was a young man, he was a teenager, everybody knew him in Liske. He was famous in Liske. He was in charge of taking food to the sick people. He was in charge of bringing food to a kimpatutin that just had a baby. He was in charge of if you needed a loan, if you had a business deal, you go to Reb Shaila. Everybody knew he was close to the Reb Heschel Liske, and he had access. And everybody knew if you needed something, you went to Reb Shaila. One time, it came to Reb Heschel Liske's attention that Reb Shaila gave money, lent money, a notable amount, to a local guy, a Yid, who was so gahak tzuris, the guy owed the whole town money, and he came to Reb Shaila with a whole idea, a whole business idea. I'm going to do business, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I just need to borrow some money. And listen, it's tzedakah, you're giving the money anyway. like this, help me, perhaps I'll pay you back. If I pay you back, I'll make a nice donation to the Liska, to Pishka. And so Reb Shaila gave him a big amount. So it came to Reb Hershel Liska's attention that this Bavis, the con man, this Ganiv, he was conning everybody in town. Everybody had lost money with him. And now he found out that Reb Shaila went and gave him, from the tzedukah geld, gave him a big number. Said 10,000, a big number. And this guy had no intention to pay it back. Not just that, he was joking with his other friends. Shaila, yeah, I got it. Yeah. Hershel Liska was very upset. He called two of his gabuim, and he said, go with Shaya, go to the Yid's house, and go collect the money you just gave him, or the money you gave him last week, whatever it was. And the Rebbe says, go. What are you going to do? You're going to go. So the Shaya goes with these two other guys, and as they get to the Yid's house, the Shaya says, well, one second. He quickly runs ahead, and he runs to the backyard of the Yid, and he knocks on the back door, and he's talking to him. And in the front, one of the Gabuim says to the other, he says, I bet you Reb Shail is giving him money so he can come to the front door and make believe he paid it back. And they went and they looked, and Kachava. Reb Shail was in the back telling him, listen, they want me to collect from you. Here's the money. Here's an envelope. They're going to knock on the door. Give it to them. Don't worry. I'll come back. I'll give you more next week. I'll give you more. So was the middah. When everybody who was against this guy, Reb Shaya looked at the core, said, Nebuch, the guy's not a con man. He's tzibrachin. He doesn't have. This is not as big a tzedakah as something else. Why? Because it doesn't smell or taste right. He didn't worry about that. He went straight to the core of what was troubling that person. This is Schissa Yogan Eleni. You know, there was once a Yid, his name was Rabbi Yosef Goldman. Rabbi Yosef Goldman, they called him the Naya Pesteruv. Naya Pesteruv. He was a big Ruv, he was established, he came from a lineage of Rebbes. And he came to pay respects to this famous Rebbe of Shailas. He comes to Kerestia. And as he walked in middle of Mincha. And he was expecting, world famous Shaila. There was no WhatsApp, there was no videos. All you did, you heard about him. For months and months he's hearing, he figured he's going to come into Kerestir and he's going to see a Rebbe dressed all in white, and he's going to be standing and he's going to be shuckling a 3-hour mincha, and the oilim is going to be no, vuz, 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 and there's going to be mit kishif, mit kedisha, there's going to be all the ceremonies, and he comes in and he sees Reb Shaila with his tzitzis, with his beketcha open, with his sleeves rolled up, and he's spooning, he's mixing the lakshin on the fire. And then they say mincha, and he walks in, and he sees Reb Shaila daven a mincha like this. Yeah, kol mashakal, he didn't even shackle. It was unceremonious. The whole thing was over very soon. It was a very simple mincha. And the Naya Pesteruv, he's looking and he's saying, I don't understand. This whole thing must be bogus. What is this Shaya? Look at him. He looks like a simple guy. And so he stayed Thursday, Friday night again. He stayed for Shabbos. By Kabbalah Shabbos, if Shaya was like a candle without any wind. It's a small shackle. The Hasidim were davening hoyach. Shaya was quiet. He was bent over, unemotional. When it came to the Seder Shabbos, the Shaya sat the Naya Pesteruv next to him. And when the Chulent came out, the Shaya opened up a Noyam Elamelech. It says that Shaya never said any Torah. He would learn out of two Svurim, from his Rebbe of Hershel Liska, the Ach Pritvia, and then he would also learn a shtickle on that week's Noyam Elamelech. And he wouldn't add, he would just read a page, simple from the words. And the Naya Pesteruv was looking and he's saying the davening is kalt and the avoid is kalt. I don't understand it. But he sees the chulent is on the table And he sees that the cholent looks like lukewarm. The top of it already is like it's getting dry. Looks there's no smoke coming off it. Looks like a very Litvish cholent. So he's thinking to himself, "Oy vay, I'm craving a warm meal." When it came after the Shaya closed the Noam and the Melech, he took his groise shepleffel that he used to say mished and metile, and he gave a mish as a groise mish, and he gave the Naya Pesteru some chum, and he tried to eat it, and the chum was so hot, it seared the whole mouth, it seared his mouth. Says, wow. The Shaya turned to him and says, Naya Pesteru, do you see? The cholent is like the davening. The cholent is like the davening. From the outside, it looks like it's lukewarm. He gave him a zasimon. The cholent is like the davening. And so many Rebbes came to the Shayla, and many of them were startled by the simplicity of the Shayla. They all left the biggest Hasidim, and every Rebbe of town would send their Hasidim for Yeshiyas to Kerestir. One young boy recounts that it was a Friday night. It was a Rosh Chodesh, so everybody came to Kerestir. And when they came in, when they finished the Seder, Reb Shailu would put everybody to sleep. He says this boy had toothache, so he happened to be awake. It was 2 a.m., and he saw Reb Shailu walking around, and Reb Shailu was giving blankets, and he was covering everything. He would walk through, and if anybody was uncovered, he would schlep up the blanket. There was an older Yid who had a thin blanket. He saw Reb Shailu go into his own room, come out with a thick fur, and lay it on the older Yid. And so he would go through making sure everybody had everything. When he was certain everybody was sleeping, he said this boy was awake, his eyes were closed, and he said he heard Reb Shailu sit down, open a Shulchan Aruch, and it started simple, sweet voice. Halacha is, if you wash your hands, and you have it like this, he would talk, and he would talk about the halachas. The boy, he wanted to catch a peek. He wanted to see. So after a few minutes, he risked it, yeah? And he opened his eyes. And Reb Shaila's back was to him, close by. He says, as soon as he opened his eyes, Reb Shaila stopped, closed the Shulchan Aruch, and walked out of the shul. Some could say, no, he didn't want people to know he was learning. I say, push it. He sensed that he was keeping somebody awake. So he went out. He didn't want to keep him awake. This was the Reb Shaila, he was so famous. He was famous not just by the Yidden, the Goyim, still today, if you go to Hungary and you talk to the local Goyim, they call him the Chada Rabbi, the Wonder Rebbe. It says that on Rosh Hashanah, Reb Shaila used to walk, if anyone has been to Kerestir, many of us have, he would walk from his house, with the Hasidim, he would walk to Tashlach. And he would walk to the Badag River. In those days, 1905, it was very dark. There was no lights. It was very dark. You walked the second day, Rosh Hashanah for Tashlach. The way back was pitch black. There was no roads. There was no lights. It says all the Goyim of Kerestir and the Tokai region would stand with candles by the road. Hundreds of Goyim. They said not a window, not one window from the river all the way for a mile to the house. Every window had a candle, and the Goyim would light the way for the Chada Rabbi and the Hasidim. They said that it was so moving one year. It was so moving. The Hasidim felt so emotional by the display of love. They listened. They heard the Reb Shaila say. He was saying, I forget the Chazal. He was saying that, I should be like dust of the earth, like kenafshi k'ofar lakol tia. Yeah, he wasn't schooled by the display. There's so many stories. There's really no way to even begin. That's the emes. There's no way to begin. But I like saying stories, nicht of mafsim. I like saying stories that show the koyach of a yid to listen to another person and to hear a tzura, to hear a tsar, and to put yourself with them in the Tzuda, be mispal ba'ad chavaydai, and to be a poil yeshiyas. You know, I have a friend, Maya Mendelson. I don't know if he's
First make
logged on.
l'chaim.
We have
First make
friends,
l'chaim.
Maya.
Mandy,
First
make it
make
l'chaim, Mandy. Make it l'chaim. Make it one more.
One time, I was traveling with Maya Mendelson 2 years ago to Kedistia. He wasn't feeling well in the airport. And he said to me, he said, Mendy, I wish I can get to Kedistia. You know what I want? White rice, plain white rice. I'm so hungry. I know I'm going to come. There's going to be farfel, and there's going to be shlishkis, and there's going to be lecho, and all the Hungarian things they serve. And I said, just want some white rice. I said, Maya, there's no chance you're getting white rice in Kedistir. Rice, I don't know. That's like Japanese. That's not Hungarian cuisine. We've been there 30 times. They don't have rice. I promise you. We have people here on the chat that were there. We walked through, and Moshe also says, I don't know why. He put down a big bowl of white rice. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. Mamish, till today, if you want something, you get it. Let's sing a niggin, Le'ili Nishmas of Shai and Moshe, and then we'll say a few stories. Maybe we'll let some other people share. I know I've discussed my father's here. My father took me to Kedistir 23 years ago for the first time. Nuz Chisa you're gonna lay me. What should we sing?
Shalom Rand, Rand that you want to hear.
Sing the ay 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 ay.
Hallelujah. Hit us with some music. That's great. Need some music to cheer up.
All together,
All the way from Kedistir.
Mendy, beautiful Mendy.
Mr. Silver, maybe you want to unmute the Olim. The Olim can talk a little bit for 2 minutes.
Well, hello, Aboisai. We have Rabbi Youngreis. Are you there, Rabbi Youngreis? Rabbi Youngreis.
Let's unmute Rabbi Youngreis.
Rabbi Youngreis.
You can unmute. Who is it?
Let's
Rabbi
unmute the
Youngreis.
Nickersburger Rebbe.
The Nickersburger Rebbe is on. Rabbi Youngreis.
Kiva, where is he?
Let me get him on. Hold on one second.
Mendy, thank you so much, Mendy.
Oh, Dudi. Stisti Yoganalaini. No, let's
Beautiful.
unmute Moshe Yassel. Where's Moshe Yassel?
I don't see him.
You guys are on. You can.
Unmute Moshe Yassel.
Angelini's on.
We have a remote technology team. The tech team is remote.
Mendy, make me feel like I'm there.
Oh. We are there.
Is that Nasano? I need a name, how it comes up on Zoom, and then I can unmute.
Moshe Yosef, unmute yourself.
Moshe Yassel, no?
Okay, now I didn't know what the hell is going on here. This is Kirsty.
Moshe Yassel, you in Kedisty right now?
Yes.
No, show us.
Shulam, say hello.
Wow, we have a Yid. No, be masked the Olim.
No, send in the Kritler. Whoever's sending already. Look, this is going up to the Tzion right now. This is all going up to the Tzion. We have a whole bunch again. There's like a few thousand Kritlers going up to the Tzion right now.
Wow. Moshe also does amazing stuff. Rabbi Sai, he needs money. Yesterday.
You hear me?
He needs money yesterday. Let's go.
Oh, we got Rabbi Youngreis live.
Where's Rabbi Youngreis? Where is he?
He's live.
Shalom Aleichem. I get you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get on with the video. I don't know how to do it exactly, but I'm on the whole time. I'm there with all of you, together with the Heilige Tzaddik, with the Shaya ben Moshe. We're all sitting together. He's here with us together. I don't have no suffix. He's all over the world. And he's sitting now there with us in Flatbush and Borough Park and Etzisruel and in Williamsburg and all over the world. And jeder staat a yeshia. Everyone who needs a yeshia, the fear, panusa, shadicha, whatever it should be. Whatever you need. At the room ausgepolt, alles gets ein. Nothing to worry. Nobody should worry. We should all be strong. And I pledge and I beg Klal Yisrael, I'm sorry that I'm interrupting. Akiva Solkowitz, and was not too long ago over there. He goes, he's constantly there. Even when he's here, he's there. And he was not far from my grandfather also. There was also a big Polish. He is the Manicha Susher, the Chenger, the Tzaddik, the Chodi Rabba. They also called him the Chodi Rabba. And this and that. These were big. These were very, very big people. Very, very. The Mordechai Bennett from Niklasburg, 40 years. He was the roof, and the Chassam Soifer. He died someplace else in Wien. And they took him out after. I'm sorry, I'm bringing this in because we're talking from Tzaddikim. Everything is, the Tzaddik wants we should talk from Tzaddikim. And they asked the Chassam Soifer, they can bring him out. He says, yes. There's a whole, the Chassam Soifer Paskin, that you're allowed to take him out and bring him back to Niklasburg. He's laying in Niklasburg. It was 40 years roof in Niklasburg. And next to the Schmelke, he was a Talmud from Reb Schmelke. What I want to bring, coming back to this, it's the Yahrtzeit is not only for tonight. We carry this on all year round, all life, and we darf sich upleinen. And I'm Mr. Haskell. I know English, Yiddish, but I'm gonna mix over here. I'm sorry, I'm not the Musa Sayer. I wish I can be on the picture on live, but we're all picturing one another. I'm picturing all of you, and I spoke already today a lot. I was on Kolma Wasser. I was on a few newspapers called me, and I told them all, and I'm saying the same thing. I'm down to earth. I'm not in the sky, and I don't know why this and why that. I don't have no terutzim. I know that I listen in. I'm trying to listen into bigger Talmidei Chachamim than me, Rosh Yeshivas and Rebbes that are bigger Ehrliche Yidden than me, and when they guide me something, to tell me something, I'm not going now into it. Doesn't come into here right now, but we are in a situation that we have to be indoors a lot, and so I brought it out. Again, I'm not making no finalizers. I'm not finalizing what you have to do, how you have to do with minyan, with mikveh, with this. I know. I'm just saying. I spoke lately to the unit. I don't like to say. I didn't want to mention today names. On where I was talking. Is it Komavasser? Was it newspapers? And because if I'm going to talk to this guy, he's another who's, and that's another. Everybody wants to pick. So I just say the M is how it is. I believe, and 100% that these people are no better than me personally. And I accepted when they said something to do and how to behave, and the government wants like this and like this, we should try to, because it says the Shmartem Oid Lenafshe Seichem says by you, it says that the same Shulchan Aruch in the same band, how do you say in the same band? In the same Shulchan Aruch. In this, you hear what I'm talking? Hello?
Yeah, but we hear what you're talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to say Muster. I just want to say one more thing. Over there it says, by your body, the body is not yours. You're not the boss on your body. The body is the boy in the boss. It's shmarte ma'oid. Ma'oid it says. Be very cautious, very careful. But by tefillah, by davening, it doesn't say ma'oid. Very important, the davening. Very important. But doesn't say ma'oid. So we have to be cautious with everything. Let's go to the next step. I just throw it in Schis from the Große Tzaddik from the Heiler of Shire, but a Moshe Metchem. It should be a Mile Tzioisher and the Metchem again. I get double portion for everyone that everyone should have whatever he needs. And what's very important, I'm sorry, I must bring it out. The Machloikis is the worstest thing. I feel it. Everybody can have another opinion. I have a point. It's my Lego. How do you say the Lego? The Logan. There's a lot of Logans. The Seiris Adibris. We have to keep the Seiris Adibris. But let's get back now. Machloikis is the worstest thing. Machloikis, is it landlord-tenant? Is it family dispute? Is it a worker with the Machloikis? Is it Hasidus? Is it this? I'm not pointing out at nobody. Everybody should point on himself. I don't want to come now with Musa Drushes, but it's love stories. It's love because I love you all. I love Klal Yisrael. I love the world. I'm bringing it out. I want to finish it. Not in a minute. And one more thing yeah.
Shulam, do you copy? Shulam, do you copy?
Oy me teye magev voso ya pekasa magveya pekasa baba.
Thank you, Akiva, for doing everything you've been doing to help people during this time. Thank you, Akiva. Angelini, thank you so much.
Akiva.
You know, this reminds me of a story as we all sit in our houses alone together, alone.
We're not alone.
And we drink
Right.
l'chaim, b'schus the Rebbe. You think Reb Shaya understood what a good l'chaim meant? You think he understood? Let me tell you a story. There was one year during World War I, the price of whiskey shot up through the roof, and you couldn't get any whiskey. The kretschmers were empty. Everything was empty. It was rationed. It was part of the World War I ration. The story goes that Abshayla was so busy, he was searching and hunting for bromfen, for whiskey. And he went and he bought whiskey because he said some people could afford it before and they need it. And now they can't afford it. He wanted to make sure that he could have. It reminds me of another story. There was a famous drunk. There was a shikker who lived in Kerestir. His name was Chatzkel the Shikker. And the Gaboon would know. They would hide the bottles. If Chatzkel was at the table, they would hide the bottles. Right, Mo? We have people like that. You got to hide the bottles. Because once Chatzkel got the bottle, forget it. Game over. So like this, they would hide all the bottles because he would drink, There's some people that drink enough for themselves to get drunk. There's not some people that drink for the whole town. There's some people that drink for the whole world since Avram Avinu. I don't know about Chatzkel drank for the whole world, but he certainly drank enough for all of Kerestir. And they were hiding all the bottles. And Abshayla, in the middle of the meal, used to always call him over, Chatzkel, and he would give him the keys to the cellar. He'd say, do me a favor, bring me up a bottle of wine for benching. Bring a bottle for benching. And Chatzka would go in there and he'd have a couple of l'chaims and he would sneak a couple of bottles. So was the level of tzedakah and chesed that Reb Shaya had. Amazing, amazing. We can't even fathom. Anybody have any stories? Anybody want to share anything? Mo, you want to unmute everybody for a couple minutes?
Reb Shaya used to say that a lot of tzaddikim focus on razin the razin. He was focused on tzayva the razin. He wanted to just feed Eden. There was a whole avodah. He called himself the Bayer Island's innkeeper. He just wanted to feed Jews and make Eden happy.
Valdi, Emes.
He just wanted to be Mahana of Eden.
Yeah, he would test all the tzaddikim are busy with Ruza de Ruzin, are secrets of secrets. He play on word, it's spelled differently, but in his simple way, he would say, and I'm busy with Lesoiva, V'lei Ruzin, with being satiated and not hungry. This was when he used to joke like that, all the Rebbes realized he knows Kabbalah, he knows Ruza de Ruzin, he knows everything. But like I said, what can we take out of it? Go ahead.
If anyone wants to say anything, just unmute yourself and he can talk.
Anybody want to say anything? Anybody want to sing a niggin?
I want to thank you for everything you're doing tonight. It's just beautiful to hear the harmony with your kids. I love your choir. I miss that. I miss all the singing on Shabbos. It's just a tremendous thing that you
We miss you.
We miss the
Yeah, you miss me. How do you think I feel? I miss all the shuls I belong to. I love all this.
Yeah.
This is what we need just to uplift our spirits.
Hopefully,
without drinking the spirits.
Hopefully, using this time to sharpen up on your sleight of hand skills. We want some great magic tricks when we get back. The great Ben Jalini, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure and honor.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mendy, I'll share a story that happened with my great grandmother. My great grandmother grew up in a city called Rahad, which is a small little town in Hungary. Her father was a very erlich. I don't know if he's an official Rebbe, but when a child went through his town, he stayed by him. And it was during the Bein HaMetzarim in the summer when you don't make a shechianu. And in those days, you would make a shechianu even on an apple. So they didn't eat apples until the end of the weeks, so you can make a shechianu on the apple. After the 3 weeks, my great-grandmother, she brought an apple to the Rebbe, who was staying with her father in the house, and she said, the Rebbe brocht an apple, the Rebbe wants an apple, and he gave her a bracha, gezind and lang yoni. She had long and healthy years. My grandmother went through the Holocaust. I don't even think she had numbers on her arms. She didn't go through the camps.
Wow.
She didn't go through without the camps. She lived kamat till 101. I knew her. She was niftaris in 2013. She lived till kamat 101. And she was gezint mamish till her last day. She was running around. Her own daughter was never couldn't walk around because she got hit by, my grandmother got hit by a car. But my great grandmother, at over 100 years old, would be making pumpat and running around, mamish doing errands in the house. 100 years old lady.
Wow.
And then she had the flu, she had pneumonia, whatever. Chick-chock the whole thing 2 weeks. She was niftaris.
Wow.
Zin to the last, mamish good to the last drop, like they say.
Wow.
But this Maisa, the Kitzer, is on her matzeva. This is a story that I grew up with with Reb Shaya in my house. I don't think I ever had a picture, but I always grew up with Reb Shaya, and I only went to the Yahrtzeit. I only went to the Tzion because of Shulam. Shulam sent me a link to the Lechet's $1,500 tour to last Yahrtzeit, and I was there. And I wasn't in a good place. I decided I'm going to go. And I went to a few different tzaddikim, and I wasn't in the zone. Nice, I was nice. I was in Europe, whatever. And then I went to Reb Shaya. I said, before I'm going to go to the Tzion, I'm going to daven Ma'ariv. I davened Ma'ariv for half an hour. Just something being next to the Tzion, something broke, and I was in a different world. So, but to break a Jew, to get through to a Jew in 2019 is the biggest.
Emes, no, we should all be zeicher to be broken that way. Nisano Versleiser. I want to hear something from your experience. Last day we went to Kedistia. Come on, Nisano. Share something. What was it like?
Just good
Tell me
stuff.
about your
That's it. My bags are packed. I'm still waiting. Let's do it.
Like Yankee says, we're going to take such a Nakoma. We're going to do such a Nakoma trip.
Chaim will on the end. Chaim will come in. Chaim.
Chaim Berlin's coming with us.
Where's Peterman? Peterman.
Beautiful.
Good times.
Oh, guys.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
We're recording.
Mandy.
Yeah.
Remember when it was Hanukkah time, when we had the shul, when we started all over with Kedistid? And what happened? We were sitting there Hanukkah time, it was the regular shul, as it's called Breslov. And we wanted to tweak it, and we bring in Kedistid. We put that picture up. We don't even know why. And legit, it was literally 2-3 hours. We turned the whole thing over. The whole shul changed. Mandy can attest to that.
We repainted.
We
repainted. We made all the. You know, Akiva, nothing changed in the shul.
Nothing.
In us, it changed. Nothing changed in the shul. In us, it changed.
You know, guys, we take it for granted. We have no idea what we had in our shul. Now that we're by ourselves, and we're not by ourselves with everybody. But the end of the day is when you think that when you're sitting there and it's a little davening, but you know what? We all miss each other. We're all there. We're all in our shul. And now we're not with we're not with all our friends, and that kiddush we don't have. We don't have that Kabbalah Shabbos. It's sad.
lonely.
Forget what you have. Now, this whole Corona thing, Hashem showed us that we don't forget. We don't never forget what we had. Don't take anything for granted. You think everything's a little granted? It's not.
Says the guy who's stuck in Miami.
It's Orlando. It's not Miami.
Self-quarantining.
A big shout out to Shlomi and Chaim every single week. That shalom, putting that together. Big shout out to Hammer and the family.
Beautiful.
Chaim.
Think about the words.
The president is on the air. The president is here. The president. The truth is, we have one of the founding fathers on here. We have the founding fathers on, actually, the first person who started, Yisrael Plout. He's on here. We have Big Shaya, Mr. Plout. Sorry for me. At the end of the day, nobody knows. At the end of the day, he is the one who started the Pasuk Shul.
Yisrael, you should be gezind.
Shout out. You be gezind in a bigger food shalem.
Amen.
Rabbi Marsh, Rabbi Yishai Guri here, Mr. Marsh.
Ooh,
Mendy
Rabbi
Warsh. Mendy Warsh, how are you? And I know the Plouts, I think. Is this the Plouts from 55th Street?
It's the Chapanash Plouts.
So we were neighbors in Borough Park on 55th Street.
Wow.
Mr. Guri.
Rabbi Guri.
How are you, Mendy?
You've come a long way for a Smarty.
Yemenite. We have no.
We're a long ways from home.
Hey, Mendel, give me a tune.
We're gonna give you a tune, and I'm gonna tell you a story. And I think if there's one story you gotta hear tonight, it's this story. But first, we'll sing a niggin.
Good. We need more music. Wonderful children, wonderful.
Big shout out to the
My
bar
son
mitzvah.
Shaya Zazain Gezind. He's named after Reb Shaya. Shaya, say hi. He's out of bed.
Oh, big shout out to the mitzvah bocher. A big shout out to the mitzvah bocher.
Oh, bar mitzvah.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.
One of the most famous Hasidim of Reb Shaya was a wealthy, respected Yid by the name of, anybody want to take a guess? His name is Reb Shloime Engel. There were three Hasidim that were very close. Reb Shaya waited for them. They say by the Yitzias Neshama of Reb Shaya, they were waiting for three. One of them was my grandfather, Yemi Berkovich. One of them was Reb Shloime Engel. And there was another one, I forget his name.
No?
Maybe Greenwald.
No, hurry up, go fast.
Says
Shmuel Yosef Rieder.
Oh, of course. Shmuel Yosef Rieder. Shkoyach. So it says, Shloime Engel, every Matzah Shabbos, not just the Yidden of Kerestia, not just the Yidden of Tukka, even Yidden as far as Budapest. We know we go today, it's 2.5 hours by car, and I'm talking drive it like you rented it, but on a horse and buggy, it took all night. You got there at 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and that Malava Malka went all the way till Sunday Shachas. People were rolling in 5, 6 a.m. People were still coming already for Malava Malka. Shloime Engel was one of the closest Hasidim, and he was like inner of the inner, B'chadrei Chadurim. And every Matzah Shabbos, he lived in Tokai, and it took him probably 45 minutes to an hour. He would get on his horse, and he would go. One Matzah Shabbos, guys, listen to this story. One Matzah Shabbos, Shloime Engel gets on his horse. He tells his wife, I'll see you Sunday night. And he gets on, and his horse, he had 2 horses and a wagon. He was a wealthy man. And his 2 horses are pulling. And as he's getting out of his village, just as he's about to enter the main road in leaving Tokai, the main highway, he sees 2 big black dogs. And the dogs are there and they're growling. They're standing on their knees like this. 2 dogs at the entrance to the highway, to the on-ramp. And they're there. And the horses see the dogs. And the horses say, we're not going. Ich blabdu. The horses are afraid of the dogs. They're not going. Shloime Engel doesn't know what to do. He comes out. He starts throwing. He has in his pocket some leftover beef jerky. He's throwing it on the road. The dogs are not moving. He tries everything. He screams. He barks. He gives them food. He tells the horses. He's kicking the horses. No matter what he does, the horses do not walk past the dogs. After about 2 hours, he doesn't know what to do. He's stuck. 2 hours. Suddenly the dogs get up. The dogs leave. Not as much as a bark. The horses continue, and the horses get to Kedestir. If Shloime Engel, he arrived in Kedestir, it was very, very late. It was 4 or 5 in the morning already. He walks up to the Rebbe, and he says, Rebbe, I'm sorry I was late. Before he could finish the sentence, Reb Shaya tells him, no, did I watch you good? Did I watch you good? He didn't even know what the Rebbe is talking. He figured, what do? You smile. I'm the moron. I don't know what the Rebbe is saying. I smiled, yeah, Rebbe, and he went about his business. He gets home Sunday night. His wife runs out to greet him. She says, did you hear the news? He says, what are you talking about? He says, the guy, Ivan, that you had working for you that you just fired because he was stealing? This Ivan, let me tell you what happened. He was sitting in the bar, in the Kretschma, 4 in the morning, Matzah Shabbos, and he's angry and he's cursing. And people ask him, Ivan, what are you so upset about? He says, I got fired by this guy, Shlomo Engel. He caught me stealing. And the guy fired me, and I'm angry at him. And I know where his money is. I know everything. I know every Matzah Shabbos, he goes out with a wagon full of money for his Rebbe, Kerestir. And him and his 2 friends, they sat on the side of the highway, the main highway, and he says, as soon as the Yid was going to come, Shlomo Engel, I was going to take him, kill him, throw him in the Badrog River, and take all his wealth. And as he's saying this out of anger, there happens to be a policeman in the Kretschma, quickly arrests Ivan, and they throw him in prison. Shlomo Engel heard this, he ran back to the B'Shayla. He says, Rebbe, your mama saved my life. You saved my life. Listen to this, my friends. Listen to this. The B'Shayla told him, Shlomo, are you listening, guys? He said, when a chassid puts his hand on the door handle of his house, when he puts on his door inside his living room, when he grabs the handle to leave to his Rebbe, he's already under his Rebbe's watch, his shmir, under his Rebbe's chus. The chus yogein aleinu. How sweet is that to us? We can't travel this year. We can't go. But Chevra, I'm telling you, in the words of Reb Shayla, if you make a l'chaim, if you pack your bags like Nisanel said, you keep your suitcase packed, and in your heart you can join together with 50 Yidden, with 100 Yidden like this, on a weird thing called Zoom that 4 weeks ago I never even heard about. So too in 4 weeks from now, we should forget about it. The 7 fat years should be so good, we should forget the 7 good years, the 7 weak years. We should, the zeicher of COVID should be something that we once heard about. It should have no ramifications or effect on our lives. It should only be used as a catalyst to the Ge'ilah Shalema, as we'll walk with Mashiach and we'll welcome all the great Zaydis and Tzaddikim, and Reb Shayla will be feeding the poor people on the side. We're going to have to go look for him. We're going to say, on the big Oifen on the head table, we're going to see all the Tzaddikim. We're going to say, where's Reb Shayla? He's going to be rolled up, mishing and tiling chunt and kigel for the poor people. And so there's going to be a line from the base of Mikdash all the way to Reb Shayla.
What kind of a line?
There's a chisai, yoga in the lane of our kol yisrael l'toivo.
What kind of a line?
Thank you, Mandy. You're the best.
Mandy.
Mr. Isaacovich. L'chaim.
Mandy, maybe a little Eilecha for the show.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody wants to share something. Not bad.
Yeah, Frankie.
I wonder who that is.
Mr. Silver, unmute the Oilam, no?
If someone wants to say something, you can unmute yourself. Just
You can unmute yourself if you want to say something. Feel free.
Mashiach,
Can I bury my dog in the mikveh?
If you can find the mikveh open, yes.
Mazel.
Moshe Yassel, give us a masa, Moshe Yassel.
First of all, we're hearing Kirsty. Before we say our story, this is how Kirsty looks now. I think the last time Kirsty looked like this was probably by the war. This is Kirsty right now. Empty. But this is how Kirsty looks.
Are you in Karis Theater now, or this is a video from you taking?
This is Kirsty now. Shulam, say hello to the Chevra.
Oh, wow.
Shulam.
Someone wants to say hello to you.
Shulam, I want to ask Reb Shaya for a bracha for my peepee.
Oh, you have too much things to say.
Shulam, why don't you smile, Bill?
Whoever's on there that can't be mature, please, if you can go off. It's like
Why can't you listen?
All right, it's very good.
Thank you, Akiva. Thank you for telling them to do that. Get
Make
off.
your point. You could please leave. Thank you. There's no reason.
Thank you for telling to do that. Thank you.
Not right.
Okay, Mandy, maybe a
Not left. Why you do that? Come on. Guys, come on. The cat is...
You're missing out. Missing out, my friend. He's going. This isn't Thursday.
Does Reb Shiloh's car have a Kara steering wheel?
Oh.
This guy. Can I have a burger from my baby?
No, where's it? Hello.
I'm busy going to
Chaim, Chaim. Hello. Where's the?
Mendy, who are we talking to now?
Nuisance. The nuisance is removed. The nuisance is removed.
Who are we? Who are we just talking to?
Shema Hashem Echoleni Hashem
Moshe Yosel, you remember this?
Doing keresti, jeder evet das bakimen doing
Moshe Yosel,
Yes.
How do we get you to take us into the Tzion right now?
This minute I can't, but maybe in 10, 15 minutes we're going to be able to. I'll try. But first, let's talk about the Yemehesh Berkovich.
Oh, my Zayda.
Yeah. Zayda Yemehesh.
No, tell us something.
Yemehesh was one of the people who basically supported at Shaila's house. He used to bring a lot of fruits and vegetables and flour, which that was his main business. He had 5 mills, I think.
Yeah.
So he used to bring to Shaila constantly stuff. And now, this time of the year, when basically the whole world is in a disaster, and people are thinking to give tzedukah, not to give tzedukah, they don't know what to do, how much to give. It's a limit to learn from Yemehesh. By World War I, when there was no, basically people didn't have panusa. Yemehesh doubled what he used to give, and he used to bring it double.
Wow.
That was Yemehesh.
Yeah,
And
that was during the war.
Yes. Now, there's an interesting story from Yemehesh, which, Mandy, you know the story probably, and a lot of people hear the story, with the sugar cubes.
Tell us.
Oh, this is the story with the sugar cube. I like it.
That was one of them. That was the story. You were asking before about the mikveh. There's a story about the mikveh also with Yemehesh.
Yeah?
But Yemehesh, his wife was sick once. So he came to Shaila. Shaila gave him a bag of sugar cubes and told him every day she should eat one every day. Kotzkitzike, yeah. So, and she did it, and she became healthy. She was gesund. That went on for a while till Shaila passed away. Every time when she finished the sugar cubes, he came back to Shaila, and Shaila gave him again, and she was healthy. Shaila passed away, Gimel Eir, and she didn't have any more sugar cubes. So she asked the Yemehesh to go to Bevrumala. And he said, no, Bevrumala, it's not Reb Shaila. But she started becoming sick again. And Yemehesh didn't know what to do, but he didn't want to come to Bevrumala as a Rebbe. It was the Rebbe's son. He had respect for him, but not as a Rebbe. He came back, so he left for business one day. He came back with a bag of sugar cubes, and he told her to take it. She took it, and she became healthy again. So that went on for a while, till the first Yahrtzeit from Shaila. The first Yahrtzeit, Yemehesh came here to Kiristid, and he went to the Tzion, and then he went into the Rebbe, to Bevrumala. He went into Bevrumala, and Bevrumala told him, oh, Yemehesh, I didn't see you for a long time. When you didn't come even for the whole time. So, let me tell you a story. Told him there was in Lezensk, there was a Malamat, his name was Milas. He didn't have money. He had 4 daughters to marry off. He didn't have money for them, for the weddings. His wife asked him to go collecting money. He said, no, I can't. But Boy Maim had Nufesh, he didn't have any more choice. He wanted to marry them off. He went out on the way. As soon as he came to the next village, they asked him, who are you? He said, Milas. Where do you live? In Lezensk. Oh, the Rebbe Milas from Lezensk. He said, no, I'm not the Rebbe Milas from Lezensk. I'm a Pushativ Melamed. Oh, and Una Volchet, he's a Unaf. So they gave him money, they gave him kvittler. He started giving bruches, and the bruches helped, and people got yeshiyas. And the further he went from Lezensk, the more people came to him, the more people gave him kvittler and more money, till he had enough money to marry off his children. He came back to Lezensk, and he went into the Rebbe Meilech, and he told Rebbe Meilech, listen, Rebbe, I went out to collect money, and they thought I'm the Rebbe Meilech, so they gave me all this money in the skwitlach, but it belongs to the Rebbe should take it. So the Rebbe Meilech gave him back the money. He told him, next time don't do it, because every kvittel we had to back. I had to pray for every cripple.
I covered you.
I covered you, yes. So the Bevumela finished the story to the B'yamihesh. You need sugar. You need more sugar cubes. Come to me, I'll give you.
Don't give your wife knockoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had every sugar cube you had to cover.
Gewaldig, beautiful.
So
Zechisa, you're gonna learn.
Zechisam, you're gonna learn. So that Yamihesh is a side of Mendy.
Yeah.
And Mendy is doing constantly wonderful stuff.
Oh.
And one of the things is to get together so many people now in Shaya Yahrtzeit, when nobody could come here to Kristi, and at least we see some people live somewhere. This time of the year,
Shlomo Zalman, say a couple of words, Shlomo Zalman. No. Shlomo Mechaim, say a couple of words. No. The master chef. Come on, say a little. Give a bracha to Loilam. You have the big schos.
You know, we have a guy, his name is Shlomi Hammer. In our local field by us, his name is Hammer. Every week, whether he travels, whether he goes away, and Babba's Yerusat, he makes chunt and kiggle for the Oilam. No matter what, rain or shine, aber nicht da macht chunt and kiggle. The getters are often COVID-19, he drops off kiggle by everybody. This is mamish midas for the Shayla. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have, Mendy, I have a story to share. Where you guys were there by the story when it happened. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take out some details from the story because I think the guy is here in the line, but I'm gonna say the story in basic. There was a guy came over to me Friday afternoon by Shulis Ofrif. He told me he has 2 children, he can't have any more, but he wants to have another child.
Yeah.
At that point, we needed money here in Kristi. I told him assume how much we need. He took out his credit card and he gave me his credit card. Here you go. I don't know if you know the calendar, but it's 9 months and 2 weeks from Shuli's wedding. And that guy made a bris last week.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Amazing.
So this story is still going on here by Shayla, here in Kristi. Oi.
Yeah. Moshe Yossel, let me ask you, Moshe Yossel, what does it feel like to be there on the Yutzad and it's still nobody's there? What does it feel like? The whole year you're feeding people. Thousands of people.
It comes to cry, basically. It's just to cry, that's it.
Wow.
We see the world is
cry, have in mind Phyllis Yisrael while you're crying.
Yeah. It's basically from the storybooks, it looks like World War II.
Crazy. Mamish. How many Eden were in Kedistir last year, Gimelir, for the Yurtzat?
I don't know how many people were here, but on Wednesday, the day of the Yurtzat, we gave out 20,000 main dishes.
That's crazy.
That was on Wednesday alone. Forget about Tuesday and Thursday. On Wednesday.
Amazing.
Besides that, we are not the only ones in Kedistir. So
yeah, amazing. No, that was just help.
Is there gonna be a Yahrtzeit number 2? We're gonna do maybe like
I
2
think
months.
I think Tezluf 7 is at my Yosef Yutzat, and yes, the last Rebbe. So I guess when if it's gonna be open at that time, everybody's gonna come at that time.
Wow.
That's the
It's already getting light. It's already getting light in Kedistir right now. Jeez.
Yeah.
At this time last year, we had it like hundreds of people putting on film, thousands of people putting on film already.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Dovidal's on the air, but
Go ahead, Mashiach. Go ahead.
I thought you wanted me to do it earlier because Esti was closed and then. Right. Why can't I play call myself? No, there's an error. It's not all there is here.
Guys, hold on. A little public service announcement. Meeting stops. It may stop at 11. I'm going to start it up again. So everyone, please just rejoin.
What?
So I apologize. If it stops, just use the same use the same meeting, and we'll start it up again.
Ouch! I spilled hot coffee on my penis.
I want to wish everybody a l'chaim, zechisa yogan aleini. May the tzaddik's merit be yogan on us. May it give us the strength to follow in his ways. May we see the beauty in every single person and in every single situation. May we rise and see our strength when the going gets tough. May we rise above the physical. May we go into the spiritual. May we be in the realm of tzaddikim. May the Eibishter have Rachmanas on us, the way Reb Shaila had Rachmanas on on the whole world. And may we finally see the day when we can hug and sing and dance without any worry about any germs, as we sing and dance and schwitz on each other as we go towards Mashiach Tzidkeinu, B'mheira v'emeinu, Amen. And my day, your days right away.
Amen.
Gival, Gival,
Tell him that you would want to. You don't want him to go out.
Did thing for Shaya. Huh? Like he was talking to us.
Learning with you and Archie.
All over the map.
May we all be helped. Right away. Love one another and talk to Hashem.
Encore. Mandy, maybe one more encore.
One more?
One encore.
You have a request or you want me to go?
Ani Mammon?
Mandy, we're good. The nuisance is off. We can continue. The nuisance has been.
Shayla, your mom has changed my life.
Mandy, we can go all night. The nuisance is off. The nuisance is off.
Your mom has changed my life. Your mom has changed my life.
Mr. Silver, can we unmute
Maybe a little.
Rabbi T-Berg? Maybe
Oh, Rabbi T-Berg.
Couple of short words. Hold on. Rabbi Tiber, you can unmute yourself.
What's happening?
Oh.
Mandy, beautiful,
Chisa
beautiful.
Yogan Aleinu, Shalom. Chisa Yogan Aleinu.
Amen, amen.
Go ahead.
What was the question?
Maybe give us something. Say a little something.
Oh,
No pressure.
you know, it's thing that the Yahrtzeit from Shaya falls out at the beginning of the parish of Achimois, and you know, the time of the passing of a tzaddik is a time of reflection. I mean, you think about the legacy that it left behind and what we can learn from them. And you know, this time of year, you know, this time in history is everybody kind of has the feeling of Achim Mais with so many, unfortunately, so many people falling left and right. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know somebody or of somebody that, you know, they know or relative that hasn't Rahman al-Sam passed away. And you know, it's interesting, Mendy, in your song on Reb Shaila, so you mentioned that the tzaddik is standing, and just like he was when he was alive, he was Hoyle Yeshua, so he's doing the same thing now. And that's a very, very important foundation of Yiddishkeit, of the whole concept of what it means of Misa. You know, I mean, where the whole concept of death, as Yidden, we believe that a person is alive after he dies just the same way he's alive when he's alive. The only difference is that when he's alive, he has the guf, he has the body, which is the physical aspect of him. And after that, after 120, so that part is gone. But the person as a person, his personality, his midas, his tzidkas, and as you mentioned in the song, you know, Shaila's tremendous Gevaldig Avas Yisrael to every single Yid, that's as alive in his death as it was when he was in this world physically, and even more so. There's a beautiful letter from Shlomo Volbe, the famous Mashgiach, and he writes it to his kids after his 120, and he quotes from his own Rebbe, Rabbi Yerucham, that passing away is like moving from one room to another. And as it's brought down, the Oisiyos Kever is the same Oisiyos as Biker. It's a new dawn, it's a new beginning. The person moves on to the next world. He's not going anywhere. He's still here. He's still with us. And it's the only difference is how we here see it. But in terms of the actual life, it goes on, and the neshama of a yid is never dead. It's never dead. It's always connected to the Eibishter. It's always connected to the source of light. And whether it's the great tzaddik Reb Shaila, whether it's anybody else that we knew who's no longer with us, we have to realize that as Yidden, the olive phase of the foundation of the Munah is that they're alive and they're with us. And Adarabah, in a certain sense, they're more with us in their death than they were when they were alive, as it says in Chazal, Gedolim tzadikim b'misasim esav b'chayim. Because when a person's alive, there's a physicality, there's a barrier. But when that physicality is gone, it's only the neshama that's there. So the neshama has no boundaries. So in a certain sense, they're with us more than they were beforehand. And that's something that we can all take to heart during these difficult times, and in particular this Gevaldige day, with the Yahrtzeit of such a tzaddik, with such Avas Yisrael. There's no question that Reb Shaila is with us. And as you mentioned in your song, your beautiful song, that he's probably Yeshua's for Klal Yisrael. And when do we need more Yeshuas than we do now? Maybe Shtaka help that the Gevaldige Zchus of the tzaddik should be a protection for all of us. That there should be no more tzar, no more machlis, as we say every night by davening. Should remove from us in the schus of the Heilige Tzaddik Shai ben Ramesh, the schus of all the tzaddikim that we lost in these recent months. None of us should be affected by this illness, and how can we should be zeicha that Shall only be from here on. Shall only be good things, good tidings for us from Gans Klal Yisrael. We should be zeicher to Gula Shleim and Behavi Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Beautiful, beautiful.
Mendy, the first time I met you,
Again.
you sang a song that starts "Wherever I Am."
That's
I don't remember a lot of that song for various reasons, but.
Umeniach bigdusha, ve'amidu shnei yavovoinek, ve'amidu shnei yavovoinek, zecher
Mendy, maybe a little Bay V'Shalom to end it off.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You want one more song?
Did you say end it off? Where we going? We got all night, baby.
I have to go home. Oh, sorry.
A big special shout out to Mo Silver, who is in his shloshim for his mother, who went above and beyond to set up this ability. At least 100 people tonight. We're nehenna from this. It should be a schus for you and for your mother. L'chaim. Tzaddik, katuma yefera, Abonoin yizgah,
Mandy, Bayi Vishalom.
We did it. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Nedora. Vashem Hashalem. Negdono lechalamon. Oy necha. Telalai be'ezazem. Shaya ben Moshe, Shaya ben Moshe, Achoy v'Kol Yisroel, Bonei Chayim, Zayim, V'Iven Shaya ben Moshe, Shaya ben Moshe. Apoy v'Kol Yisroel, Bonei Chayim, Zayim, Come on, Shaya ben Moshe, Zechisa Yugain Leini, Lechayim, Lechayim,
Mandy, we didn't say you make one l'chaim tonight.
Shaya ben Moshe,
Mandy, where's your l'chaim? We didn't see it the whole night.
L'chaim, L'chaim. Mo, you want to mute everybody?
What's that?
L'chaim, everybody. This was beautiful. Gave me a lot of chizik.
Mr. Peterman wants another Nigman.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
Peterman.
What's the Chaim's wife had a big miracle. We all held with. Big nissim for Chaim's wife. She was on a ventilator last week. Chaim. We should only hear good news. Chaim.
What? He's a funny kid. He's the one who. Oh, he's not a normal kid.
Remy, I'm not on mute anymore.
He's not. He's the one that's singing it.
Seleidik, Mendel. Mendel, Seleidik.
Chaim, the simon that it's over, Kesher Hagen in the bottle.
Was noch ein Schlapperos, noch eins, Mendel.
I would love to continue all night, but my wife, she just served me with papers. If I don't stop right now, I'm done. I'm quarantining myself. L'chaim, l'chaim. Thank you all for joining, l'chaim. May we all be blessed.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy.
L'chaim, zoyne, but not just regular. Reviche, a lot. It should overflow one for the other. We're all friends.
Oh my.
You have, if you have, I have. Especially if you have, I have. L'chaim.
Thank you.
When's the Uber leaving to the airport? We should all be zeicha to the Ge'ila Shalema. And in the meantime, the schus of the tzaddik can be making even in Golis. We should have all our hungers filled. We should be full in everything that hungers us, in all areas that we're lacking. We should be full, so much overflowing. Keep it going. We're going to be out of this soon. Chevre, chazak, because you'll remind yourself the Yahrtzeit that you had on Zoom. It's going to be a distant memory. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. And all be blessed.
Bye v'shalom. Come on, end off bye
Big
v'shalom.
shout out to Shulam Kish, all the way in Muncie, New York. L'chaim, Jacaruso Lane.
Bye v'shalom. One more time. Come on, end this off, Mendy.
One more. Oh, Mo, come pick up my suitcases. My wife is packing for me.
Remy, come here. I need a dancing partner. Come here. I need a dancing partner. I have to on screen for a week. Oh, shit, that's the back.